Welcome to the Life of KG, your ultimate destination for all things motivation and business insights. Join me, Katie Godfrey, serial entrepreneur and the brains behind the KG brand. Along the way, we'll welcome inspiring guests and share invaluable business tips to fuel your growth journey. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. With that said, let's dive into the world of success together. Guys, I really need your help. My book is launching on the 14th of April. I'm so excited, but I'm also really nervous. Please can I ask you to join up for the waitlist so on the day of launch, you can help me. This book is everything you need to learn about business, how to grow it, how to scale it, how to have a team to help you build it. Everything you need is within it. Think of a whole year of coaching within a book. So go and join the waitlist, and I can't wait to hear your feedback. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of A Life of KG. Today I am so excited for this one because we're going to be talking about TikTok. Okay. So I had Emily Bourke on the show from Social Climbers, and we are going to be talking all things product and TikTok and her insane story, which I absolutely love. So hey.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for being here.
That's okay. Happy New Year.
I know. Can you believe 2025?
It's like terrifying, but also really exciting at the same time.
I know.
Like, I think 2024 was a mad year for both of us. I know we met kind of early on in April.
Yeah.
And then definitely followed like some of your story, and even though you've seen some of mine. So yeah, it feels like 2024 for me feels like it was 10 years. And all the things that went on. So I'm super excited for 2025, but also
pumped for it.
There's like the pressure to level up and
it's
2024.
Like level, and then it's like every year got to level up, and you're like, okay, can we stop?
Yeah.
Can we go back a little bit?
When are we touching the clouds? You know, I get to like relax.
I know. Right, let's do an intro. Who are you do?
Yeah, I hate
Where should we start?
Hi, Emily. So I head up Social Climbers, which is a digital marketing agency that is TikTok focused. We also have another agency, which is Altitude, which helps beauty, wellness and grooming founders create their brands from scratch, get it out there, get it launched, hopefully make their dreams come true. But we've really noticed that in the last 6 months, the need out there is the TikTok support and just understanding that. Apart from that, I am a retail girl. So I think I'm the trifecta, like divorced parents, neurodivergent, and dropped out of uni. To the GOAT, Stephen Bartlett, I hear that's absolutely what you need to be successful these days. So woo! Thanks, Mum and Dad.
Ticking all the boxes.
Yes. So I quit uni when I was 20, went to work in a Karen Millen. Fell in love with retail, and started this crazy journey that's led me all over the world. And now back to half an hour away from where my parents are, to living in Windsor. So it's been a ride.
Oh my God. So let's go back, because I love your story, your journey. Like, you had me in tears when I heard it the first time.
Yeah.
So
you can do that again.
Yeah. So let's go back, like childhood. Yeah. I know there was the whole uni story.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm really lucky that I had everything I wanted growing up. We didn't have loads, but my mum made a lot of sacrifices so that we did have things. I remember that when she first went back to work, my parents split up when I was about 5.
Okay.
So she had to go back to work at 6 when I was 6, and she was a insurance broker in the city. So not an easy job for a mum who used to go into London every day on the 6 a.m. train and then be home to make dinner, which is what she did. So not easy at all for her. And she did crazy stuff, like instead of buying herself a winter coat, so we had winter coats, she'd wear a jumper under her rain mat and take her jumper off round the block, and then pop into the office and look like, all chic. She's very fashionable. Mind her off, very fashionable. So she really did, she did give up a lot, but it was obviously also tough.
Yeah.
My dad dropped in and out of support. We have a good relationship now, which was a big thing for me to have, but it was a lot for her. And there was, a lot of chaos and 2 kids, both ADHD, which nobody knew anything really about back then in the 90s.
When was you diagnosed?
About 2 years ago.
Oh, really? So quite fresh.
Yeah, but I had dyslexia. They called me out as dyslexic at about 8, and I used to have these special lessons where they would be like, think of the words that end in AT, cat, that, sat, mat. Honestly, I can regale quite a lot.
Yeah.
And after one term of that, I was ahead of the other people in the class, so those classes stopped for me. And my mum then invested in a tutor for me to have reading and writing to really bring it up. My writing is atrocious. My spelling is crazy. Even now, God, I'm like always to clients, you will get all of this, but it won't always be spelt correctly. Like, please be aware there will be spelling mistakes.
Yeah.
I've got Grammarly, it goes through AI. Still there's little tweaks in there.
I'm dyslexic as well.
It's embarrassing sometimes, isn't it?
It's hard.
Because it like undermines like all the amazingness that you've done and all the time and the effort that you've put in, but it's also there, and that's who I am.
I see so many comments like on haven't had it for a long time now. I feel like I've rewired my brain to know how to write and spell and grammar and stuff. It's really clever, like what you can kind of do.
Yeah.
But in the early days when I was like on socials, I see comments like, well, you're doing this and this, but you can't even spell. And I'd be like, mate, dyslexic or client emails used to do the email marketing. I've always done email marketing for like 15 years. And in the early days, I used to always get a client message me back and say something. And mine's off.
I now like have friends and I'm like, tell me if it's bad so I can go in and edit it.
Yeah.
But I would also nicely, if I know someone, I'm like, oh gosh, like, I really want you to do so well, just to let you know, like, I know, you know I mess up. This is because you want people to do well.
Yeah, definitely.
Never from a negative. But no, so that was a bit hectic. And my dad was kind of inconsistent with us. So he was in the UK until I was about 12, and then he moved over to Thailand, and he lived in Thailand for nearly a decade or just over. And now he's been in the Philippines for like the last 22 or 23 years.
Really?
Yeah. So she really did like bring us up on her own. But
single mums and bears.
Yeah,
I'm not single anymore, but I was.
Yeah, exactly. I can still have the badge because she did it. But it's very difficult because she did so much and she gave up so much. But there was also a lot of chaos, which has caused a lot of other things later on that I've like worked out in therapy. So it's so difficult because I love her so much and I'm so grateful for everything. But in the last few years where I've been working on that, like, it's also been like, okay, but this wasn't right, and now we have to kind of go back and sort that out. So it's really hard for me. And my therapist is like, you hold your mum on that pedestal because she did so much for you, which she did, and she needs that credit. But there's also things to like go back and unpick and unwork. So I did all right at school. Went to a school that actually helped people with dyslexia and learning difficulties, although I was never allowed to have the extra time. I wasn't dyslexic enough, apparently.
Oh, right.
That was nice.
Yeah. I remember
I remember there's this guy called James Wright, so clever, so intelligent, literally Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. He got the extra time and he never even used to use it. He'd leave the exams early. So I did go to a super supportive school, but then I changed schools. And I went to the same school that all my brothers went to because everybody thought it was amazing. And it was what we call a comprehensive. If you're not from the UK, that's like a government school, but it was a comprehensive school with a lot of rich parents. So it has a ginormous hall called the Bartholomew Hall, which is a huge, moving seating that you can have thousands of people in. Yeah. It has AstroTurf courts, whatever it's called, pitches, which Watford Football Club used to use. It has endless resources. So it wasn't really a comprehensive school, and it was super academic driven. And I don't think, because I did well at my first school and I got enough good grades and all the teachers liked me, I don't think anyone kind of picked up that could be ADHD or there could be any problems because it just masked so well. And I absolutely floundered there. I really floundered. And this is something that I've really reflected on, is like, if I am lucky enough to have children, to understand how they learn, to put them in a school for them, not necessarily the best school that's super academic. Maybe it's more of a creative school, maybe it's more of that, and hopefully our education system begins to reflect that. So I've then took two A-levels at grade C. I'd gone from like 10 A's and B's and GCSEs to 2 A-levels only at grade C. I failed art because I stopped going because the teacher was so awful. It was like public humiliation. I've gone from like A to failing. He got fired. The rumours were he sold artwork, but who knows? I feel like you have to be careful what you say on podcasts now.
Yeah,
The classroom gossip can't be the same. But I really struggled there. I got on with everybody. I was lucky to be friends with the popular girls, but also friends with the normal girls, like Mean Girls vibes. Was invited to, lots of parties. It was great, but academically, I absolutely flunked out. So then I went to uni and I chose history, having been an art creative, wanting to do design my whole life. I gave up on that and went and did history at a uni that I didn't even go to on an open day. I look back on so many things now and I just realised I was just people pleasing and doing the right things and thinking it was right. And it's so much pressure to make decisions at 14 for your GCSEs, 16 for your A-levels, and then 18 for what the rest of your...
It's a lot. No one knows anything there.
Yeah, and then you're supposed to go and get a job from 9 to 5 and be in there till you're 66 in the can. No thanks. It's true though. So I feel I made some crazy decisions, but I really don't blame myself because I was 18. I don't really blame my parents because that's what everybody told you that you had to do. There's no blame. It's just one of those life lessons. I went to uni. It was only 6 hours of lectures a week. So it was
partying?
Because you had to be responsible for your own reading and your own learning. And I'm 18, I'm living away from home. Love dance music. I love to be out. I love to be sociable. Was obviously started to get into drinking quite a lot because when I was at home, I never done that because I used to drive.
Okay.
It's drinking a lot and just a mess. Left in the second year to my parents' horror to go, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. I had a boyfriend at the time. He wanted to move back home. He wanted to get into being a mortgage advisor. Mm-hmm. He was quite direction. He didn't go to uni either, and he used to get 91% on everything. He had that photographic memory. Please.
I wish I had that.
Give to me. So I actually moved up to where he was from, which was Great Yarmouth. Big change from Buckinghamshire and Canterbury.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Big change. And got a job with Karen Millen. Mm-hmm. And I'd worked for Reiss in the summer in Covent Garden, which is pretty crazy really to think about it, as a summer job to be up in the flagship stores. And I'd really fallen in love with the customer side, the speaking, the styling, the sales. Mm-hmm. It ignited something in me. So when he was I don't really want to be in London, we moved back there and I took a job for £6.15 an hour, 30 hours a week, which is £9,500 a year.
Wow.
That was the beginning.
Wow.
So when they tell you don't make money in retail, they're not always right. So yes, I went there and I was super fortunate to have Hannah as a manager. So she managed a House of Fraser concession. Mm-hmm. Everyone remembers House of Fraser.
I used to love House of Fraser.
Yeah, they feature later in the story too, which is a nice segue. But it was super lucky that she was there, and her whole hope was to be able to teach me everything that if she wasn't there. She was really giving. We're still friends, still in touch on Facebook. She's had a great career. She's moved into M&S and she's in the buying team. I think you never really know what anyone does do. But she was amazing. She taught me loads. I stayed there and then I was just done with Norwich. The relationship was, I was also 20, 21, big time into the partying. Mm-hmm. Big time. Norwich was a good old night out. Norwich was a great night out. 3 shots for a fiver, that night.
Messy one.
Yeah, really messy. Every Wednesday, and the whole of House of Fraser would all go out. So, yeah, it was terrible. It amazes me how much I've done and functioned with all the partying, honestly. That gets worse. So then I moved back and interviewed with the London team, and somehow they put me in Regent Street, which was the #1 Karen Millen store globally. Originally, I'd actually gotten the job as the AM at Harrods, and she was like, I'd gone to meet her, and she offered it to me, and then they retracted it, and I was like, oh my God, they must hate me. Very anxious, very anxious attachment style, zero faith in myself, worried about it for 2 weeks, lost weight, didn't sleep, didn't eat, blah, blah, blah. I mean, really, as you're 21, it's not that deep, but to me, it was this is my way out, this is what I want to do. And lo and behold, they put me in Regent Street because they really saw where they thought I was going. I don't think I realised that until about 3 years ago.
Really?
But yeah, so I sat there. So I worked with Regent Street, another incredible manager. Vicky, also still in touch with her today. Wonderful human. She had a long, long career at Caramel.
It's so good you've had good managers and leaders around you, yeah.
And especially like in Norwich, like not to diss small towns or anything like that, but there are not a lot of people that would invest time and put time into somebody. That it's just that just wasn't happening back then. Like, you know, I don't even know if anyone knew who Tony Robbins was back then. It's 2007. Wow. 2007. So old. But yeah, so super lucky, came into Regent Street, moved to Selfridges, was the AM at Selfridges, learned loads. That was incredible. Was there in like the time of Selfridges' 100th birthday. If you ever want to learn how to surprise and delight customers, that is the school.
Wow.
Unreal. Like there was people running around like dressed up as Mr. Selfridge. There was a day where they did a lingerie show on the escalator, and I'm sure there was a snake. I can't remember if I'm thinking of Britney Spears or not, but my mind remembers a snake, so who knows. Olympic stuff, they had like people running around commentating on people shopping, like fake running down the escalators, like just really surprise and delight. You know, what can we bring? What can we do? Yeah, we're Selfridges, okay, but that's not enough. Like, what can we do to be better? I learned so much there, even though we were just a concession manager. I then went on to work with Ralph Lauren, and I managed their Bicester Kids store at 22, which was doing 8 million turnover. And the first year that I took care of that finished on 11.
Wow.
So we really, really triple X that. My first day in the business, they got a 40% mystery shop result. Everyone after that was 100%. We motivated the team. We worked with head office. We put stuff in place that was like then rolled out globally that they were trialing, where you could like, this is when RFID really started. Okay, it's just so fun. Where you could literally fill up your store from the empty boxes in the back. It was mad. Like the stuff that we did, we would sell maybe the shop 2.5 times a week, so 60,000 units a week, pumping. So again, I learned absolutely tons there. And again, another manager who was really invested in me, her name was Fiona. Really invested in what we were doing, and Ralph Lauren is very invested in who you are. Their head office is not far; it's just in Watford for the outlets. Just incredible. And even the guy at the James, who was the manager of Vista Value Retail, also interested, coming, speaking to me. So much like on the side mentoring, and so many people giving so much time. And like, you don't realise what's happening until you look back, and you almost feel bad for not being grateful enough. But I've had some insane mentors along the way, like so lucky. Then I went to work for All Saints to Selfridges, and that was honestly awful.
I was going to say not so lucky.
Awful.
Really?
90-hour weeks.
Oh my God.
Days and days and days with no days off. 6 a.m. train with my mum. Last train out, home at 1 a.m. Back on the 6 a.m. train. No. Day after day after day. Just wanting blood from stones. We achieved a lot there. I was like, there's got to be more than this. And at that point, I was paying more tax than I'd earned in my first 3 Caramel jobs. So in Norwich, in Regent Street, and in Selfridges, my clearing wage, I was now paying more tax. And I was like, what is this? I did what we call is right. I didn't have a baby. I didn't take the easy way out. I haven't married for money. I haven't done any of that. I'm here trying to build and grow, build my finances, build my earnings. I really want to be that person. And I just felt like I was being penalised. And then someone I went to that awful school that was too academic for me put up on social media, my company has jobs in Abu Dhabi. Who wants one? I sent him a message. He booked me a flight. I flew out for 4 days to see if I liked it. In June of 2013, I came back, and 60 days later, I took 2 suitcases and moved to Dubai and went to work for him in financial sales.
No.
I was done with retail. Obviously, the hours at All Saints had ruined me. I was back in Selfridges as well, so I was in my happy place. So replied to him, got the job, headed over there. What a change that was, in an office to start with. And I had thought that's all I ever wanted. Oh my God, 3 months in, and I was like, put me on shop floor on a Saturday. Like, I want to be like hanging out with customers, exciting people, psycho. Unreal experience. I actually went to a seminar day yesterday, but they were talking about sales, and they said, has anyone ever been on the phones and done sales? And I was like, well, yeah, I did that for 1.5 years. And they're like, you're really lucky. And I am lucky. although it was full on and it was like 100 calls a day, 20 appointments a week, got to hit this, got to hit that, all this stuff. It was a huge education, and I'm super grateful to James Green for giving me that opportunity. And he's gone on to achieve tons with the company. And it's amazing to see, he's definitely someone that I want to be, that 2 circles up. I leave that there. So that this training with Doug Tucker, also great. He's 100% somewhere I want to be. And he gave me my opportunity into Dubai.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I know is something you're considering.
Yes.
So I went over to Dubai, did that, and then interviewed for a job with House of Fraser, Dubai. Took them 8 months to give it to me. I'd just given up. I'd actually forgotten, and I'd actually left Avir, and I'd taken this like BDM role for this company. And this is a real story, okay? I don't think my boyfriend knows this, and hope he doesn't watch this podcast. We'd met them in Cavalli Club. Drinking was really bad.
Right.
Really bad.
In Dubai?
In Dubai, Cavalli Club. Been on their table. And we'd got on really well with them. Nothing weird had happened with anybody. And you know what it's like. Girls get put onto tables with guys. Everything gets paid for. That was my life for a long time.
Yeah.
And they took my details and they contacted me about a job. And I was like, oh, great. And just sent them a fake letter about what I was earning and all this stuff. So I had my salary like tripled overnight. So I was on commission only to me. Tripled my salary overnight. And I was like, yeah, amazing. Had a job offer, had interviews, met different people, had my office planned out in their new office plan, had things that I was looking at for them, like basically building their like hospitality and tourism arm of their business. Owner flies in the following week. We go back out to Cavalli Club. Oh no, he's only employed me because he wants to have sex with me. Unreal.
What?
And I was like, this is so unreal. Like it was really hectic.
So did you have sex with him?
No, managed to avoid that. Like literally, he was in town for a week, and I had like gotten away with it. And you know what it's like? You're like, I'm 28 at this point, and I know it's wrong, but when you're in Dubai and if you're employed, you need a visa, you need medical insurance, you need the ability to be able to stay. I didn't have that without a job, and I didn't have any prospects of a new job. And we all know it takes 3 to 6 months to get the right role. So I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? I really want to stay. I'm going to apply to Etihad and I'm going to be crew. Really, that's something I know. I was like, I'm going to give up all this business ambition, all this time, all this effort that I've put into my career. Effort, I'm just going to take a gap year. I'm going to be crew, see how it goes. I really want to stay. I don't want to go home. I avoided the sex. I can't really remember all the excuses, but there was a lot. And then he left. And then I worked the month to get that salary because I didn't have any way to pay my rent. Devere used to subsidise my rent. I wasn't getting that now. And like, I live fast, die young, hadn't really saved that first year.
Of course.
Plus, when I first got there, commission only for 3-4 months, burned through a lot of savings, drinking, partying, yachts, Ferraris, you name it. I did it. So I was like, cashed the salary in and then never went back. And then they started to bleat at me about some phone I had. So I like sent it. I can't remember, someone took it to the office. I was like, this is just not okay.
Yeah.
Never confronted them, never did anything, just quietly left.
Yeah.
I'm very much that. I'll just quietly leave.
Yeah.
Don't need this big thing. So luckily, didn't have to have sex with the Libyan guy with an honestly missing finger.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so I'm there. I'm like actually out in the desert with a friend of mine who is crew, talking about being crew. And I get a call from Pratap, who's the COO of Retail Arabia, who I'd forgotten about. And they were like, we want to offer you the job of concessions manager for House of Fraser in the UAE. And I was like, you've got to be shitting me. And this is where, for me, like the universe starts and really comes in. And we will get to TikTok in a minute. I know it's really self-indulgent, but there's a lot of things. So I had made this decision to stay, and I was like, I'm going to stay. I'm going to do this because this is what I want to do. I don't want to be crew, but that's the way I can see I can stay. And because I made the decision to stay and I was determined, I feel the universe served up the gift of what became brand partnerships manager, and opening my first ever store that was 100,000 square feet, 10,000 square meters. Never opened a store before.
Wow.
And we had to do it in 6 months.
Wow.
So
I mean, I've opened up salons and know that's like a turnaround, let alone a huge store.
And get all of the people in and signed up as brand partners in everything except beauty. So this is my last role before I changed. So we did that. I started with them on like January 4th. We opened the first floor on June 11th, second floor on July the 2nd, in 2015 or 16. I can't remember the other days, maybe 2015. Mega crazy project. A really good friend, he's a good friend now, the director. I don't know if he loved what he was doing, so he wasn't the most helpful. But when the guys came over from House of Fraser head office, one of them was Peter Gross, whose children had gone to that awful academy school, and I'd met him at his daughter's 18th. So there was this connection there. And the other one was Nigel Oddie, who was the dad of a guy who'd gone to school with my high school boyfriend. Really? Didn't make it up, right? So I was like, wow. And that was it. Because there was that connection, understanding that was there. But I worked hard. Like, I'm a hard worker. I knew my facts. I knew my figures. I got deals over the line. I remember being in the House of Fraser interview being like, I'm a retail girl. I understand all this. I get all that. But I've done the sales. And they were like, what are you going to happen if people say no? And I'll be like, keep asking, find someone else. Like, that's what you have to do, right? And it was crazy. There was 2 people in my team, and we had 125 brand partners that we managed. And then there were so many things that went wrong. I remember on opening day, there was like an 8-foot carpet roll that I was like dragging in front of Emiratis, which is locals from Dubai, in their full glish regalia, in my leggings, bum out in the air, probably see-through because I've got a big bum, dragging this carpet, sweating. And I was like, this is wild. But we did it, and we opened it. And it moved and it went, and then the COO changed, like it usually goes, and then things change, and we had deals with Hugo Boss and Ralph Lauren on the table, and they wanted more money, and I was like, as in House, the Retail Arabia wanted more money from those deals, and I was like, guys, I think this is where I tap out. Like, I've done everything I can for you. This is, where I think. So at the same time, I got headhunted. Actually, I got a visa for Australia, and I was going to go to Australia. That's what I was doing. I was going to go and live in Australia with one of my brothers. I've got 4, one full brother, 2 stepbrothers from my mum's marriage, and then another stepbrother in the Philippines. He's very young. He's like 11. All of us left the UK in 2013. Obviously, Filipino brothers already left, not even paying. Australia, Singapore, Estonia, Dubai. So we all went because we all wanted more. And that's definitely something our parents taught us is, want it, go and get it. You've got to earn it. It's not going to be given to you. So I was going to go to Australia, and then Michael Page, Dubai, rang me up. We're like, there's a role that we think you'd be really good for, blah, blah, blah. It's the Dollhouse Dubai, blah, blah, blah. Do you know, would you want to interview for it? And I was like, sure, what have I got to lose? It's owned by Mona Katan, who's 1/3 of Huda Beauty. And this is 2016 as Huda Beauty starts. So they just got the first range of liquid matte in Sephora. It's the beginning really for them. I mean, obviously there's years of work that have gone into it, but it's the overnight fame section. I think in the time I was interviewing, the following had gone from 13 million to 20 in the 8-day period I was interviewing. Something stupid like that. It was crazy. Went and met Mona and her business partner.
I love Mona.
I know. She's like, she is exactly who she says she is. What you see is what you get. There's no cloud there. Huda can be a bit more demanding, but then who wouldn't be when you've built an empire and you pay people to work hard? So fair enough. But never rude, never nasty. I had nothing but love from her. Like, so kind on, taking the time to WhatsApp me to say thanks for things we'd sorted out for her. Which she really didn't need to do. Like, really incredible. And every time I saw her, I remembered things about my family. Because I was obviously working extremely closely with Mona. She and I would be together like 1-2 times a week, probably see her maybe once a month, but she would retain that information. And it was just crazy inspiring to be around at that time.
I bet.
And it was just before their office went to 6 floors, and they were still in their office, probably about the size of this studio. Just amazing. They're just wonderful. I'm just so obsessed with them still. So I went over for the operations manager, presented what I do with the business, open a Botox and aesthetics clinic, get a retail store, website, distribution. And they went, all right, GM role, go and do it.
Wow.
2 salons, 70 staff at the time. Never run a salon before, obviously. Never even worked in a salon before. Not a beauty trained person, but the business and that side. 3 supervisors, 2 from the Philippines, 1 from Zimbabwe, and an accountant on secondment 1 day a week. That was it. That was what we had. And 1 driver, the 1 male member of staff. Yeah, so worked on that for nearly 3 years, secured places in Dubai Mall, had those built out, got crazy events there. Secured something in D3, Dubai Design District, you might have been familiar with, you'll definitely be more familiar with as you go there more. Like LVMH's head office is there in Dubai.
Okay.
Partner Shaloub. Built that, took on another space so we could do microblading, brought on like a distribution team, grew the whole team, had an office, everything, boom. Unfortunately, the local partner started to really disagree with what was happening, and so ensued a long court case.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some really hectic things, and I'm still nervous to talk about them today because there was obviously all this stuff that happened. But for what she did for me was started to say that I couldn't go into the salons, and I would be arrested.
But this is the local partner.
Yeah,
okay.
I'd be arrested. Started to withhold money going in, so salaries couldn't be paid, which does happen in Dubai a lot. Does happen a lot. And yeah, I was very obvious I needed to get out. Once again, universe serves me up a LinkedIn message. God, I love LinkedIn.
I love how your phone just pops up or your LinkedIn just pops up always at the right time.
No, literally at the right time. My name on Instagram is Luckiest Girl, and everyone keeps telling me to change that for like business purpose. I can't. I'm too lucky. And like, obviously I work very hard, but I feel like I have all that luck that flows through me. I've had that in feng shui readings, tarot readings, loads of stuff. So, the job to go and head up the beauty department of a huge retail group over there, which had Nike, Under Armour, Sun and Sand Sport, everything, to go and open that for them. I think that interview process was 3 days. Stay was super ready, and I obviously couldn't do anything because I wasn't allowed. So I went over, I spoke to Mona. She was like, sure, like, let's get you out because this is getting really bubbly. With the local partner. And then when I did resign and I did my last day, I then had to cancel my visa. A local partner raised a court case against me to say I'd stolen $1 million dirhams worth of stock in a Ford EcoSport.
What?
Not possible. I had to go through 8 days where she had 8 days or 7 days to raise a case. She had to go for evidence. She did have a stop takedown. She requested CCTV from the places where the salons were. She can't have any CCTV inside. There's a lot of rules about filming, especially women in the UAE, which actually I really respect.
Yeah.
She did a lot of digging, and then obviously I hadn't done that, so I was okay. No travel ban, no police case.
Was you not like shitting yourself during this process?
Terrifying.
During Dubai?
Terrifying. And I'm like, do I just get on a plane? Do I overnight it? What do I do? I'd got this new job and I really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I'd started already with them, and they couldn't pay me because I was still under the other person's visa, but I didn't want to lose the job. So I went into the office every day and did 12, 14 hours days there, which ended up a month for free because they couldn't pay me because I had this big problem with my visa.
Yeah.
I go on the day where I know it can be cancelled, it can be there. Mona comes with me. Now, I hope you never have to go to any of these places, but they are in the arse end of nowhere, full of many labourers and many people that you don't really want to be around, who are aggravating cases, rightly or wrongly, but are in some pretty dire straits themselves. And she came and she sat there and she said, none of this has happened. Emily has been at work. She has done this. She's done this all correct. And and I'll never forget that. Like, she had no need to do that for me, and she did. And she took the time out of her schedule and came to there, and also in a place where she was, by that point, we couldn't go anywhere really in public without them being mobbed.
Yeah.
I remember lunches with her and Huda, and it was just a nightmare. Like, you'd get 20 minutes before someone realised what was happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a crazy time. So she came there, and she had the local partner, someone had my wage history erased, which means it looks like I hadn't been at work, which means a year's working ban. And I was just, at this point, I was actually living, again, another lovely friend who was also in a really similar situation. Solicitor let me live with her for extremely low money, so I had a roof over my head. And I remember she had come, I think I'd gone to pick her up from somewhere after this, and I was in the car. I'd come from the thing and I picked her up because she didn't really have any money either, but she had to go to a work thing, so I was saving a taxi fare. And we were just driving on the Palm, because that's where she'd been, and I just burst into tears. I had to pull over, and she'd been drinking, and we couldn't decide who was worse to be driving. We obviously got ourselves together. I was just fucking crying my eyes out on the phone to my mum, like, what am I going to do? Anyway, the next day, got all of my pay slips from Dollhouse, got all of my bank statements, highlighted every payment for 2.5 years that had been cleared, had a letter transferred into Arabic, which Mona signed for me, that said I had been an employee. And I had minimal hours to do that before the local partner realised what I was doing. So luckily, the team in there did, they put their necks on the line against someone else doing that to give me all these pay slips, because you don't really get them in Dubai. You don't really get them. So got them all signed, got them all stamped, went back in, got my visa cancelled for 50 quid. Hey! We should have lost more weight during that, to be honest. Should have lost more weight.
The stress.
I'm an anxious non-eater, not eater.
Really?
God, by the way. Yeah. So then I was in the clear. I went over to GMG, but it was hectic, and I was in a pretty tough financial position, and that is not a good place to be in Dubai. But I was moving in with some friends, and again, they were super helpful. They helped me with the deposit and stuff, so we could all still live in this. I mean, it looked like I was living the dream. I was living in this like basic penthouse in the Palm with this balcony, literally the size of this studio. It was hectic, but all the stuff going in was my furniture, so that's probably why. So then I went to GMG. Didn't last too long. I wasn't the right person. They needed more of a, I don't know, like I love them, but we just weren't the right fit. Sometimes you're just not the right fit, and you just need to hold your hands up. And clearly I have a boundary problem. So again, back in long hours, working everything up till 2:00 in the morning. And then the woman who'd been the HR director at Retail Arabia had always said if I ever needed to move and wanted to. So I dropped that text in. Lucky enough, Majid Al Fateh were looking for a head of beauty. Funny that, US. To open their concept store, and I was part of a team of 4 that opened another 5,000 square foot store mid-COVID. And that was hectic. That was taking care of all of the salon side of everything and all of the retail, 2 jobs in one. And that was so toxic. Like, I've never been so anxious in my life, and my drinking's out of control. My dating life is horrific. I'm making all the wrong decisions, looking for love in all the wrong places, thinking that the next guy is going to be the guy, and getting ghosted. I had a boyfriend over there for 2 years nearly, and he had a wife here I didn't know about, and an 18 and a 20-year-old child.
No.
Yeah. And we would spend full weekends together, week in, week out, zero idea.
No idea.
And I met him because he pursued me through a friend. So I never asked who was single, because stupid me.
Yeah.
Why would you be? Don't wear a ring. You have asked, you followed me to numerous events. My friend still says he told me, but honestly, he didn't.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
Yeah, awful. So that was wild. And then, obviously COVID hit. We were super lucky in Dubai. We only had a 3-month lockdown. They wanted to be the place you could come on holiday. They opened the airport in July 2020.
The one thing I regret.
Yeah. They were there.
Even on the flight.
We were like, sure, come in. We had loads of COVID, but they managed it really well, and we didn't have high deaths, so it was very different for us. I don't think there was more than 3,000 people that passed away in that whole time. And we had 600,000 cases, something like that. And they did loads to make it work. They were the number 1 vaccinating country. They did this national sterilisation, so they had a curfew, but they cleaned while they curfewed. So you had to be in by 9 p.m, but they curfewed, cleaned for you. So everyone was very happy. And we were lucky. We couldn't dance and do this and do that and stuff, but all the bars reopened and all the brunches went back on. And I had this lovely period of not drinking of like 3 months. And then I went straight back into that. And Majid Al Fateh was insanely stressful. That was 8 a.m. till 2 a.m, 4 days a week.
Wow.
All the time. Crazy hours, awful boss who has acknowledged that and apologised since. And I was like, this is it. This is the last job for someone else. And it got to like middle of 2021, and I was like, I really can't do this anymore. I set the date to resign as October 3rd. Obviously not a Mean Girls reference. It just was October 3rd. Because that was when all my house was up and I was going to move back to England. I was done. I couldn't do it anymore. So I left there, and in my period of leaving.
Did your phone ring?
No, sorry, didn't even ring. I was giving different people tours of the store, like different journalists, and showing different people and trying to do lots of stuff to really, like, you know, excite people about the store and the beauty that we had and the services. And one of those people was the beauty editor of Cosmopolitan magazine. And I was like, well, I'm actually leaving. I'm heading off to start my own consultancy and this. And she went, oh, this is why we met each other. She's so intuitive. I want to start my own brand. I was like, okay, let's have a chat. And my friend called me up and was like, hey, I know you work in beauty. Can we have a chat? And I was like, yeah, okay. We went for like breakfast. I don't think he was expecting this. And he was like, I want to start a grooming brand. And I was like, great, let's do it. And we created Ansum that launched in October in 2022 or 3. I really get confused on the dates now. It's just so bad.
Well, everything's just a blur, isn't it?
Honey. And then I've been working with Lauren, and Lauren connected me to Mo, and Mo connected me to here, and it snowballed. So I packed all my stuff up, left Dubai, and in the time I'd resigned and done that, Thailand opened its borders, and I went to live on Koh Phangan to calm down and get away from alcohol, right? What's Koh Phangan, Katie?
Party Central.
Bloody Dubai Island. Didn't know. Genuinely didn't know.
Oh.
I swear. I'm not stupid. My dad lived in Thailand for 10 years. Say what you want about me. I didn't know. Moved over there. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to know anyone? And I hate this. This is really like, Colin, why did you move to Dubai? I wouldn't do that. I could never live there. Why would you pick your suitcases up and do that? Why would you go there? What if you don't know anyone? I got there on like December 12th, I think, in the end. And on the 25th of December, I went to Christmas Day with 30 people. I met one person and they opened everything up for me. A friend of mine had been living there and she introduced me, and that was it. And that's it. You don't let that in your head.
People's opinions all the bloody time. It's like, just shut up.
I also met a boyfriend there.
All right.
And I honestly, he had a really successful business in the UK. We talked about business all the time. I was like, this is amazing. He really challenged me. It was great. We had loads of fun together. But he had a major problem with alcohol that I hadn't really realised. We actually stopped seeing each other quite early on and then got back together because we really did like each other a lot. And then we travelled quite a bit together all over Thailand. And then we decided to move to Bali. I did not know what I was getting myself in for. 30 to 50 beers a day.
No.
Starting at 1 o'clock. Big beers. If you've ever been to Asia, you know the big beer. I'm talking about Leo in Thailand and Bintang in Bali.
And you also like your drink.
I like my drink.
Help you spiral. Or did this make you spiral?
No, this had the opposite effect.
Really?
This made me really be like, wow, like I could end up like you. I mean, I've been definitely using alcohol in Dubai to cope with all the stress and all the pressure and all the loneliness, and the anxiety was insane. I used to watch Grey's Anatomy on a Wednesday to cry, so I didn't cry at work. Not a joke. Serious fact. Yeah, it was insane. It was out of control. And it was Thursday night, 8 p.m, right till Sunday Saturday, because it used to be that then. So Sunday night at 8 p.m, Thursday night, 8 p.m, sorry. Sunday at Saturday until 8 p.m. Why can't I get this out? It's 48 hours. Drink. Brunch after brunch after brunch. 3 brunches in a day. That's 4 hours of unlimited alcohol for a set price. Drink as much as you can. And I was drinking vodka from 12 o'clock until 2 a.m. Jaeger bomb shots, tequila, you name it, it's in. And that is who I am. I'm the party girl, okay?
Yeah.
It's a big part of who I was. So now I've got this alcoholic boyfriend crying to me about all of his childhood trauma, which is awful, but please go and do something about it. Like, take this. And it was so toxic, like gaslighting, love bombing, all of these things. And I really started to realise I had been accepting that from men forever since the boyfriend I had in Norwich, who was really nice. Actually did have a nice boyfriend for a little bit in Dubai, but then he moved back to England and that was, too stupid to realise he was nice. So accepting the bare minimum, and that went on for 8 months and it was horrific. And friends of mine in Bali were just like, what are you doing? So I flew to Vietnam because he'd left Bali by this point so we could break up, because I'm not a text breaker upper, okay? You just call and call. So I flew over to kind of like end it with him, plus I needed to do a visa run. We broke up. He didn't get his own hotel room that night. He stayed in my hotel room. He had gone out. I'd fallen asleep. He then decided to go out and get beers from the local supermarket and sit outside the supermarket and get drunk with local Vietnamese people that didn't really speak English. He'd come back into the room at 1 o'clock in the morning, took all his clothes off, started butt naked. I was going to do like the tunnels tour, the Viet Cong thing. I'm already an anxious person, okay? So this is already spiking. It's 1 a.m. I got to be on the bus at 6 a.m. I got minimal sleep time. 3 a.m. he wakes. I think he'd been snoring all night. I put my headphones in. So about 3 a.m. I fell asleep. 3:30, I bolt wake up because he's bolt waking up, looking for the toilet in the room. He had pissed in the corner of hotel rooms before.
Oh, God.
Couldn't find the toilet. He's no clothes on, opens the door, walks out into the corridor of the hotel. So I have to get up, call him back in, show him where the toilet is. I get back into bed. He then obviously forgets I'm in the room, like does that thing where people just like fall onto the bed, punches me in the face in the process. And I'm just like, get me out of this. So 5 o'clock, I'm up, I'm out. I've had like maybe an hour's sleep at this point. And I text him like, you need to be gone today. Like, I don't wish you any ill will. This hasn't worked. Please leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I know my snoring has to catch you up. Honest reply, Anyway, got back on and I started to struggle a little bit with Altitude, which is the product creation business. And I was doing that obviously remotely. Mm-hmm. And when I'm not doing the right thing or I'm not aligned, the universe takes everything away from me. Not everything, but like opportunities. Mm-hmm. I landed from this crazy trip. I skipped off the plane. I was like, I'm free. I'm in Bali. Woo, it's going to be amazing. I opened up my DMs and the guy I grew up next to was like, hey, just realised what you do. Looking to launch an edible skincare brand. Spoke to 3 agencies. Can't get it off the ground. Can we have a chat? Sure. Had a call. Went for a massage. Wrote the business plan. Emailed it over. That brand launched into 500 super drugs.
Wow.
So that only came to me because I'd corrected what I was doing, right? Stayed in Bali for a while, absolutely loved it.
It's amazing.
Wonderful, right? And I know you've had some incredible journeys there, which I want to ask you about.
Got my heart.
100%. And there'll be something that comes up in a minute I'd love for you to share some stuff on. And I, as this is all happening, one of my best friends, and I'm super, super lucky that we are all still friends. I'm going to get through this and try not to cry. For when I was 18, 19, some from 16, some from 6. She had breast cancer and it had metastasized, which I didn't even know was a thing. So she had breast cancer at 34, 35. She has 2 children, who was 7 and 9 when she passed. Yes, it's a horrible story. And she had metastasized. She had not done chemo at breast cancer level. And it had spread everywhere. It was in her legs. It was in her shoulder. It was everywhere, and it's bone cancer, and that's terminal, and that's stage 4. So it's living with cancer. Yeah. And by January 2023, she had not reacted well to the first chemo tablet meds. So she'd gone into the doctor and they said, okay, we'll try on some new ones. Don't worry. If these don't work, we have 3 other options. On the mid-January, and on Valentine's Day, she passed away.
Oh my God.
So she didn't have that time, and it was awful. There was no happy ending or anywhere where her life was happy. It was a fight the whole time. We called her Vicky Balboa when we were kids as a joke, but it was really her life. And yeah, she had Austin and Eva, who were 7 and 9, and it's super awful. So I sort of knew it was going to be a rough ride. I'd taken myself to Uluwatu. I had a place there. It had a crazy rainy February in Bali, so I was sat in my villa in the rain, just a mess, just crying. It was super hectic. Rightly or wrongly, a few weeks later, I was like, I need to distract myself. I'm going to go on Bumble. I don't know if anyone else does this, but this has been a constant distraction for me. Is a little swipe and a little chat. I swipe right on a guy called Adam, who replies to me and says, Amersham, ? So I've got my location as that. I'm like, yeah, I'm from there. He's like, oh, I'm from Gerrards Cross, 10 minutes away. I was like, what? Fuck? Like, oh my gosh, must be meant to be. Not in Bali on an app. We swapped numbers and my WhatsApp picture has got Vicky in it. And a few days later, he's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know I follow Vicky. I know what's happened. If you need anything, like, please let me know. And I was like, wow, my best friend has just passed away. And now I've met someone that knows her. What an amazing connection. Oh, what a beginning to a very traumatic relationship and story. So yeah, we obviously then get together. He's a bodybuilder. He has been on steroids for over 20 years. And I was doing therapy at the time for the passing of my friend. I also had tarot readings. I had Bali readings. They all told me these similar things and same stuff. I'd also started Kundalini practice to work out all these things from being a child. The tarot lady said something's happened to you between 8 and 10 that is blocking miracles for you. Go and work it out. So I would go to the therapist, talk about it with the therapist, go into Kundalini, find my inner child. Kundalini's no drugs, by the way. You just lie on the floor, someone plays music, boom, the energy goes. Spent a lot of time with Vicky and Kundalini. Done all this stuff, like looked at this child, tried to fix it all, gone through all these things, and just lied to the therapist the whole time about this relationship. And she was like, this relationship sounds so good. I'm so excited for you and all your plans together. We were going to open a fitness hostel in Gilly, where he was living, in a gym for free, which was a shithole because the guy who owns it was in jail for upsetting the locals. How many red flags do you get?
Oh my God. Talk about tell you black and white.
Yeah, it was wild. He had said to me at one point, I never want to make any money. I never want to do more than this. So you need to be ready that this is our life. Okay, but you know me, so I'm going to accept that. I'm going to accept
the love.
Been looking for that my whole life. Anyway, did all this therapy, obviously was not going well. I actually moved to Gilly for him. I took a tabletop oven and everything I owned to the Gilly Islands on a boat. Oh my God, 7 days later, I packed everything up back. And
Did you? That's funny because when we landed in Gilly, I was like, well, Luke at the time was like, I could really do this life. Like,
no
shorts, t-shirt, no phones, like just be on this little island and that's it. Like, everyone's so happy.
In the time I was there, the water had been cut off every day for at least 3 hours because they changed the way the water supplied. I won't get into that because I'll probably get sued from the government by the Indonesian government. Electric had failed multiple times. I was living out in the middle of nowhere where you would cycle because there's no engines on Gilly. Cycle. The nearest place to eat was a 25-minute cycle in the dark. And the phone service went down for 3 days and I was trying to run my business. And also in this 7 days, I think we might have been happy with each other for one of them, maybe two. And I remember finding this restaurant. There's a place called Beach House right on the front. You might have gone past it there with the fresh grill. Sat on the curb on the other side because it was the only place on the whole island I could get 3G, having a raging row with this guy who's down the road in the gym. Why didn't I just go and see him and have it out? Anyway, he was awful. He did that silent treatment. He used to gaslight me. He used to make me feel like I was the worst person ever. If I upset him, it was insane. It was like the worst of the worst relationships. But obviously I moved back to Bali from Gilly. He called me up, he cried. And for 2 months, it was all good. And we were going to move to Thailand together. I just had to go to a wedding in Cyprus. I got up to go that day and he picked an argument where he said, I just don't think we have anything in common because he knew I was going to have a great time. He hated when I went out. He hated when I had fun. He hated everything about me and who I was and made me hate myself. However, he did get me out of the drinking. So that's one problem.
We'll thank him for that part.
Then we'll leave it there. Then we split up and I remember being at this wedding and looking around at all these really healthy relationships and like I met all these people who didn't know me and they like loved me instantly and thought I was great. And I was like, oh, yeah. And they were like, no, like you are a really cool person. Like, please be yourself. So we split up while I was there, but I had all my stuff packed up and I was ready to go to Thailand. And I was like, don't want to go to Thailand, don't want to stay in Bali. Popped to Dubai for a couple of days because I was in Cyprus and it was easy to do. And my friend sat me down and went, you want a marriage? You want a family? You want to grow your business? You need to go home.
Yeah.
10 years, you've been this traveller, you've done this, and it's a huge part of your ego, right? I am that girl on Instagram that's here, there and everywhere. You need to let that go so that you can,
do what you want
to do. So I came home in November. What a time. I've gone from shorts and a bikini and a Mayfair.
What was you thinking?
That was it. That was the time. That was it. And luckily enough, my parents had room for me. So I was able to go home to them. And oh my God, it was bad. It was so bad. It was cold. It was rainy. It was miserable. Altitudinal but falling apart because I left it and I hadn't done any lead generation. I had no pitches for months, so I knew I was only going to be invoicing what I was invoicing. And then one of my clients' projects had ended, so I was like, wow, we are here. And we don't want to touch our savings, but sometimes we have to. So I started to live on them. And yeah, I just really had a big sit down with myself, and I was like, how have you done this? You've done all this growth in Bali. You learned all this stuff about yourself. With all this treatment with Kundalini and therapy and all these different readings. Like, how are we here? What do we really, really want?
Yeah.
So we get to the happy story. So I got a little book. So New Year's Eve, sat down, wrote myself. I call in like my destiny. It's my time to leave my legacy. I call in the relationship I deserve. I call in the partner that fills up my cup. I will own my self-worth and my value. I will be asking if they are good enough for me, not if I'm good enough for them. I'm like worthy so many things. I mean, like,
is this 2024? 23
December, so going into 2024.
Yeah.
And I had people tell me forever, write down exactly what you want, write about your relationship, do all this stuff, write what you want for your business. And obviously the universe has been giving me all these gifts for ages. So clearly I supercharged it, because then we're back on Bumble, swiped on Nick on the 2nd of January, went on our first date on the 6th of January, and then on the 22nd of December, he proposed. So...
and he's a good guy.
He's a great guy. Everybody loves him. He fills up my cup every day. He's so kind. He's the nicest human you'll ever meet. He is obsessed with animals. He's just so nice. We don't really row. We have a few heated conversations about like politics and stuff like that. But, it's just so different. The world is so different. And I've always looked at a relationship and a marriage as a weakness, which is a real thing to unpack. But I realise now, with the right partner, since I've been with him, I've had the mental space to launch 2 other businesses, do public speaking, open satellite offices in Dubai for content creation. We're looking at an Australia office for the TikTok. And honestly, just like literally be my own self and be this human, but also be Emily in a relationship.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting, because when I met him, I wasn't Emily, the super successful person. I wasn't Emily, the party girl. I was Emily, who was 36, 37, living at her parents' house, not really sure what she was going to be doing.
Yeah.
But I was soft in my feminine space, and I was ready, and I had really called him in. And anyone who's out there internet dating, it is awful. It is a slog. Please don't think I'm taking away from that, because it was horrible. I had a long, awful time. I mean, we don't have enough time on the podcast to talk about it, so it was bad. But I made this rule that he would need to ask me questions. He would need to ask for my phone number. He would need to be interesting. He would need to have similar things that I wanted. And when we started dating, what are your values? What are your goals in life? What do you want to do? Where are you going? How do you want to raise your kids? But honestly, the first 6 weeks was like an assault for him. Week 3, if you don't want to get married and have a child in the next 2 years, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
And I've always been scared to be that girl, because it's off-putting for men, because you're high maintenance. But no, the right man will sit there and be like, yeah, okay. And he honestly was like, I'm not really one for marriage.
Really?
So, really so.
Yeah,
I know. Yes, I remember the conversation very specifically. So I had really like sat back. How do I want to feel in a relationship? Not like, how do I want to be treated? So I'd been ignored, felt unattractive, felt that my personality wasn't good enough, felt like I was the wrong person. He made me feel interested, feel seen, feel desired. He was interested in what I said. He laughed at my jokes. Who knows if they were funny? But yeah, all those things. And I did a lot of research into like what I wanted to feel like when I got back in that November. I was like, I'm not messing around here. We're not wasting any more time. So yeah, like really look at like that. We want to feel. And the questions thing's massive for me. I did chat to a few people. He's the only date I went on. Typical. I did chat to a few people. I'm like, yeah, I've just come back from living in Bali or Thailand, Bali in Dubai, or Bali in Thailand. Oh, that's nice. Not a single question.
Really?
Back.
Yeah.
I've set the stage out for you. Oh, was it nice there? But, not a single question back. So if they don't ask you a question in 3 messages, cut them out. If they don't give you their phone number in 40 hours of speaking to them, cut them out. If they don't ask you out in 3 days, cut them out. I don't care if you think people are busy.
Yeah.
They are pen paling you. They are sexting you. They are whatever. I've had all of that and worse. So yeah, it's a big thing. And then, obviously Altitude went from strength to strength. Obviously TikTok Shop launched in 2023 here in the UK. And we just really started to see that people didn't get it. So we started to trial it with our existing clients over the summer. And then in September, we launched the Social Climbers digital agency, which really focuses on TikTok. And now we spend all day helping people build on TikTok, manage their TikTok shops, as well as building their brands at the same time. So
wow.
Safe to say it's a dream. Obviously some sacrifices along the way.
Yeah, but everything is sacrifice, isn't it? Sacrifice, risk, like everything, and opportunities that come out of everything as well. When we're maybe not in good places.
No, 100%. And I'm like, all those things that have happened, I'm like so grateful for. Like, they make you so aware of what you're doing. They give you all this life experience, like the cold calling in Dubai, the crazy bosses that I've had. My ADHD is my superpower. Like, how can you run multiple businesses? How can you run multiple clients?
Yeah.
Because my brain already runs 17 thought processes every given day at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful for it, even though it obviously was difficult at the thing. And I remember when Nick and I went out on one of our first dates, we went to the local restaurant Franco's in Datchet, 100% plugging them. What a great Italian. And there's a sign on the wall and it says, "You are exactly where you're meant to be." And I was booking flights left, right and centre, trying to get out of England. Like, oh my God. Before I decided to stay in November, I'd planned this whole trip around South America. And I remember reading that and being like, right, you better bloody be right.
Really?
And then,
so did you cancel it all? And
I didn't. I stopped. I cancelled the South America thing because obviously I was like, right, you got to stay, got to grow up. I started to book less flights because I wanted to spend more time with him. I started to get him to book him flights too, so he used to come as well. But what really started to happen was I started to build my network. I started to meet people like you. I got to speak at different events. I know that we both spoke at some of the Beauty and the Brand events, which was amazing. I got to meet clients like Ola. I'm part of the British Beauty Council. I'm in Women in Cosmetics. I've met like Made by Mitchell. I stood on stage at Beauty World 1 year to the day after I was getting that lecture from my friend about moving home to build. I stood on Beauty World stage on my own, delivering my own speech about TikTok, which was what a moment. Like, I mean, that's up there with the top moments of 2024 for me. And yeah, we've started Social Climbers, and we've seen some crazy success, and we've had crazy interest already, like within the UK and the UAE.
I need to tell you about our Lash and Brow Growth Serum. If you're not retailing this within your business yet, this is a no-brainer. The profit margins are amazing, but your clients are going to be so happy with the results because they are insane. I've been working on this product for the last 10 years because I wasn't going to bring out this unless it was the best. So you can go and head over to kgprofessional.com, go and grab yours for only £14 and you retail it at £34. Go and get yours now. Okay, so let's talk about TikTok because I know this is a platform that I personally find really difficult. I'm on it for all three of my businesses. Non-existently. I've had 2 viral videos. You never guess what they are though.
They're going to be like so random.
One of them last year, do you remember there was loads of flooding with the bad rain? My parents' house got flooded and she sent my mum a video of like all the different angles, like just to send me to be like, look at my house. And I was like, oh my God, obviously it's awful. Just merged them together, shoved it on TikTok. We had news outlets wanting to buy this video. And I'm like, oh, you actually, what about all my other videos? All the other ones that are spending your time. And then my other one that went viral was me moaning about, I was coming out of Aldi. And I was moaning about the price of Tesco's compared to Aldi. Still now, that's like maybe 2 years old. I'm getting comments daily. It's such an interesting platform. And I think this is the thing, is that we've really seen a big shift in the last 6 months, is that it's all about people and people on camera and people talking, and whether it's moaning or story time. I'm the real problem. Great story time account. She's hilarious. It's really different how we're connecting. It used to sort of be like, obviously, the dancing app and like throwing up and whatever. But now it is really like a news source, like a mini YouTube, which I know is a big aim of theirs, is to be like that. So it's changed a lot in what you need to do. And I'm so sorry to inform everyone, it is about consistency and a full-time job. The word consistency.
The consistency word of 2025. Unfortunately, I know it's really hard as business owners, as I have multiple of my own. And like our social media is always the one that suffers, because we are spending so much time on clients and we want to make sure that theirs is right before ours, for sure. But it's so tricky to just continue and to get up and to go. you don't really see any success on TikTok until you've put up 100 TikToks, which is...
But 100 TikToks mean going, oh, well, I've got 99 now and I normally spread them out throughout the year. Or is it like, so if I add another one, I'm going to go viral? Or is this like 100 in a certain time period?
Yeah, it's an everyday thing. So to really grow on TikTok, you need to look at that 3 times a day. I know there's lots of content out there that argues with it, but we are a TikTok affiliated partner. So we go to their HQ, we talk to them about our clients and how we can grow their businesses.
Thank you, I love that.
Yeah, and one of the number one things is, honestly, if they had their way, we'd post 5 times a day.
Wow.
They are 3 times a day, because TikTok rewards you for posting, for being there, for engaging. It is obviously a Chinese-based business, and it's gamified. Mm-hmm. So it's about collecting points, right? So let's take posting a video. So when you post your video up, TikTok will push it out to 300 accounts. You'll probably notice on your back end, you get like around 80% of non-followers or new followers viewing your content, right? So it's pushed it out to 300 accounts. If not, you need to score 50 points through likes, engage, watch time, which is 3.4 seconds, counts as a watch, shares, saves, comments, all that kind of good engagement, right? You have to score 50 points to then go out to 1,000. Then you score again to 2,000, 10,000, and then it's viral, and then it goes and it goes. So it's really about, is it hitting into what people are wanting to learn about? Is it interesting enough? Does it have all the right components, which we'll talk about as we go? But it's that consistency, and then it's doing it every day. Now, we are not here to say every viral every day should go, but every video every day should go viral. Mm-hmm. That's not realistic. Also, the ramifications of that is insane. Like, you can't keep up with the comments. There could be some crazy fame stuff happening. Like, it's just not really the space that you want to be. Yeah. It's enough to hit that 1 to 2 times a week. And we really say that, again, it's being consistent in your messaging. So picking 2 topics to really talk about for your virality and planning those videos out. So for you, for example, there would definitely be, business tips, beauty business owners, loads of content about that. And then it could also just be about you as an entrepreneur, your learnings, your things. So how to be better in business acumen. And then this is my day and this is how I run things, because people like to connect to those things, but they want to learn. So picking 2 topics and then consistently posting week on week about those things, and then looking at how you make that up. So is it an interesting enough concept? Mm-hmm. We can't just consistently be like, come and spend the day with me. We've all seen that. Or, hi guys, I'm just jumping on here too. We need to look at new hooks. We need to be more inventive. So a great one for the come and spend the day with me is, 90% of the population hate going to work on Monday. I don't. This is why. And then show everyone what you're up to, like when you're filming the podcast, when you're doing all of your Mastermind Academy training, when you're in product meetings for your brand. Showing those people those insights are super interesting. And what we're seeing a lot of in the last literal 10 days is smaller brands like Odd Muse, London, Sydney Lane, are sharing like where their sales have got to in 6 months, what they've been able to achieve. And, in the world of beauty, undeniably, P. Louise and Made by Mitchell have changed the TikTok game. A lot of what they share is a lot of that too. Mm-hmm. So they do share into that. So it's really like looking into that audience and really like driving to what they want to see. The rest of the content can be talking about your business, your offers, your products, because then when you do go viral, you're ready to sell out because you've got all that information that's there and they can get to know you. One of the most beautiful things about TikTok is it's consistently pushing you out to new owners. So I know that new viewers. So I know when we were talking earlier as a business owner, you were saying something that you sometimes think is, I feel like I'm repeating myself. Okay, but every time that video goes out, at least 80% of the people that watch it are new. So you need to repeat yourself. You need to be consistent in that messaging and consistent in that posting. And when you really get into that habit, you'll also start to see what the audience really eat up. And you then just rinse and repeat those things that have gone viral. Don't get me wrong, we've had things like that go viral too. We've got a games brand as one of our clients, and we've got this Paint Your Partner game. And you would think the reveals of the awful paintings is what would go viral. It comes from a viral trend. No. The most popular video is the box in front of a Christmas tree.
Oh my God.
So there's always curveballs like that, but we just have to be grateful, and we just have to keep going and keep building. And, you know, take a second every 7 days or so to actually look at your overall views, because sometimes when you're getting 200, 300, oh God, okay, all right, but you've posted 3 times a day. Let's say your average view is 350. Let's say you're really struggling. That's 1,000 views a day. That's 7,000 views a week. Of 80% of that is what, 5,500? I don't know, bad maths.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
People every week looking at your business. And then if you do feel like, oh, but what about that 20%? Well, if they're coming back, they're obviously enjoying what the content is, right? You know, there's always going to be that one that's not. Let them be over there. But those people that are coming back to you are interested in what you're saying, and those 80% are meeting you for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's really, really about pushing it out there and driving in that. Posting time is also important.
I was going to say, these free videos, am I able to just be bang, bang, bang at night, or I'd have to spread them out?
You want to do this for when your audience is like most engaged.
Okay.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m, some of the most engaging times. If you want to go live on TikTok, 6 till 7 p.m. on those days is really key, and 9 till 10 a.m. on Saturday, interestingly. And I like to think of it, and I've always done this for socials and planning, is when am I on my phone? When I used to work in an office, I'm on my phone at 10 because I've gotten in at 9. I've done that. I'm on my first doom scroll. Then when I'm having my lunch, around 2 o'clock, and then either before I go home or when I've just got home, so between 5 and 7. These are really good. If you have an audience that is night owls, a lot of people in Dubai, the ratings go up at 12, midnight, 2 a.m. You know, put your best content later on in the day. Also do that too. Like when we talk about those 3 posts, we look at the differences. So one can be, you know, like a 7-second clip, B-roll, bit of a thing. Maybe it's a lip sync. It's a bit of fun. It's kind of like a quick injection. Maybe it's a trend, something like that. A swipe carousel post as well to let people swipe and interact. And then your 1 minute content. This is usually your bad boy. At the moment, TikTok is really favoring long content, as so are TikTok users, watchers, followers. Whereas Instagram, we know, has actually had a switch to short form content. Very interesting how that's changed over.
It is, and how they're so different.
So different. And a big part of that is because TikTok wants to become this YouTube, this source of information, this source of education. And if you think about the length of videos and what you go on YouTube for, how to work my dishwasher, how to work this gas hob, let me tell you, when you live in 25 houses in a year, YouTube is your friend.
Yes.
Your household appliances when you're traveling around. So if you kind of think about it like that, and the other part of it is this real SEO piece, right? So something else we've seen in the last few months is a huge change in the categorization of content. So let's just recap and refresh. We need to be consistent. We need to be posting 3 times a day. When we're looking at our viral strategy, we need to be on the same 2 messages, because we want to be telling TikTok what they are. And we want to be looking at when is the right time to post for our audience, and whatever they're reacting to, we are rinsing and repeating in a different way. We're re-putting that out there. Why is the categorization the key word right now? Because TikTok is run on SEO. So it's an SEO-based platform. So if you are telling TikTok with those same 2 subjects and in your videos all the time that you are an account that is here for beauty business owners to learn how to run their business, and your journey as an entrepreneur, it will push you out to people that are searching for those things. You do this with your written caption, goes in the video. You can also put a little title on the top of the video, your written caption and your spoken caption, and they should be the same. And you must always put the captions on your speaking, because TikTok is scanning the video for words for the SEO to categorize it.
How bloody clever.
How clever. How very advanced. It's like everything that comes from China, right? They are just light years ahead of us. How do you know if it's been categorized? In the top not cordon, what's it? Bar, tab
search bar there.
Struggling with my words now. You get the magnifying glass, and that will tell you at the top there. So you might get business owners, business tips, entrepreneurs, coffee, whatever it is you're talking about, it's been categorized. And then for people that are searching for that content, because we go into TikTok and we search right in the bar, it will push that out. either through the For You page to them through their algorithm, or it will feature, and the more views, the higher it will feature on that search page. So it will really, really be pushed out. And at the moment, the number one thing to get done is categorize your videos. So get that content there, get that hook the same, get the speaking the same, and then use the same 6 hashtags.
So basically that's our full-time job for 100 videos.
Didn't you know that your business is your side hustle and you're actually a full-time content creator?
Honestly, and I don't have children. I need to keep alive. It can be really, really tricky. But often what we'll do is, so we've both filmed today on our phones, right? So I will be able to take possibly, I'm confident to say maybe 20 to 30 videos from this, of snippets, of long form, of background, of B-roll, again, and just repurpose a lot of that content and make it easy. And be honest with yourself, sit down and review it all each month. What's really driven for me? What hasn't driven for me? And what do I need to really like drill down on to make this work? Everything's bloody content. Your video of your coffee, you're opening your laptop, everything, but film it and get more comfortable in filming it and more comfortable in the space. Invest the time in that one minute long video a day. If you can be face to camera, talking naturally and talking about something that you know your audience finds interesting, then great. Series are also really good. If you every Wednesday are sharing tips about financial management, or every Wednesday you're sharing tips about growing your social media, it becomes consistent and people turn up and they show, and you'll see a lot of that part 1, part 2, you know, it's people want to see a series. They want to see that. And you kind of get your favorite TikTok shows, like your grandma probably had her shows or her stories. It can really be the same thing. And it's so powerful because there are 2 billion active users globally on TikTok every month. Wow. Like, Instagram, TikTok, you can't use the same content then, can you?
You can use the same B-rolls and the same backgrounds. You just need to slightly edit them in different ways. Okay. So you can use a lot of the B-roll you can put in those, you know, come and see me clean my house and reset routine. You can use a lot of that same stuff there. But what's really winning right now is front-facing educational content, especially if it's how to grow on TikTok, how to grow your business, how to make money, how to grow in 2025. People want to get rich quick. So if you have some systems in your business that tell them how to do that, man, make hay while the sun shines right now. You're super popular. So definitely like drill down into that and share that knowledge and share that education, especially if you have any kind of consulting or service.
Yeah. Like I always say like the bringing in that personal brand face to cams, and people are so uncomfortable with it. But in like this century, we have to get comfortable with it. Don't we? We have to do it.
And even if we're really struggling with that, something that you can do is have some front face stuff where you're just talking and then some other B-roll and speak over it to start with, but also film it. Like, the biggest thing to get over is the fear. Oh my God, what is Lucy down the road going to think of me? What is that person I went to school with going to think of my TikTok? Oh my God, what's that guy in Dubai that used to be like, oh, look at you out on brunch again, commenting on I was just an Instagram girl going to think? That's a real thing for me.
Yeah.
Okay, but I run 2 of my own successful businesses, working with incredible clients, having fun, creating content all day, living a timeline of my choosing. So if I work to 2 a.m, it's for me, not for all those people. Whatever it is, it's for me and it's for my future. And I'm very lucky to be in a position that I'm engaged now. We're looking to get married. We want to have children if we're lucky enough to go through that journey. And I need something that isn't going to be solely me as a business. I need maternity pay. So me getting on the face of that camera is actually setting up future me to have maternity pay.
Exactly.
It's so important. And also the craziest thing is we're kind of out of that phase where we have to do stupid stuff to be viral. Now the world just wants to see you and your lessons and your knowledge. It's never been an easier time to actually make content.
No, it literally does take seconds. I mean, I know everyone listening or watching is going to be like 3 pieces of content every day. And I've also got to do Instagram and I've also got to do Facebook. Yeah. But they are things that take, like I said, a minute for your main long form content. Like, you can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. And you can use little different tricks and you can use things. And TikTok content can be Instagram story content and vice versa. And you can just play with it. Like, don't make it, doesn't need to be perfect. The best part about TikTok is they don't want to see you in your perfect self. Like, there are also some filters on there that can slightly alter your face, smooth your skin. So if you're having a bad day or things are a bit hectic, you can kind of zhuzh up for those a little bit so you look a bit better. If you're just not feeling like, you know, your best.
Yeah, because like, as you've mentioned that, I hear so much stuff about, oh, filter this, filter that. And like, I get it, like catfish and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, if someone is really nervous, if someone hates looking at themselves in the mirror, in the camera or anything, like, if that makes you feel more confident, I can do it.
And also, like, you'll do it less and less. So, like, sometimes I use them just to smooth out these lines. If you haven't drunk enough water for 2 or 3 days, these lines are a bit prevalent because I've been on 2 days of, like, training. They're really prevalent and they're a real thing for me. I know that's a small problem and, like, everyone's probably like, oh, my God, get over it. But I'm staring at my face and I'm fixating on it. No one's really looking at that when I'm talking, but I am. So I use those little things to, like, smooth out my skin and just make it, like, a little bit better for that day. But you just have to get up every day and, like, do it. And again, like, film your morning routine, film all these different things. And then it isn't always like front face, front face, front face.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways. You just have to do it more to get more comfortable. I've been watching a number of different TikTokers over the last few months and I can see the ones that have done it every day. And now they're just like free flow and they're like easy and they're chilling in it. And that is so nice to see. It's just so wonderful to see. I know it's overwhelming, but it's kind of at that point where Instagram was in 2016. We're about to hit a huge wave of where TikTok can really have this crazy impact on business, especially product business, especially with TikTok Shop. You know, we're really at the start of that wave. And do you want to miss that wave? I missed the Instagram wave because I wasn't really doing this then. I was young. I missed the Bitcoin wave.
Yeah, me too. Gutted.
I missed the property wave because I was too busy flying around the world. I missed the day trading wave. I missed the dropship wave. There are all these ways. I feel like TikTok is my wave.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here to ride it. And obviously there'll be things afterwards. But this one does seem to be a slightly easier wave with less risk.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy a house and I don't have to invest in crypto. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just need to do 3 minutes a day content.
3-4 minutes a day. And you can do it in batches and you can play around with it. And if you really, really, really hate doing it, like get someone to film it with you, get friends to film things for you, like ask people to help you.
Yeah. I mean, we get your content all day, every day. And we've got, I mean, me and you right now have the main cameras, but we've also got our tripods. Like my tripod comes everywhere with me.
Everywhere.
My fiance is always like, oh my God, it's coming out. But he's got so used to it now. I'm like, I don't care what anyone else thinks. I need to get content. The other day I went to do some co-working. It wasn't co-working because I was on my own, but I just went somewhere else other than my office. I hate working from my office. I get so lonely. I just need to change it and like, go to different places.
Yeah, I get that.
And I was in this, but basically like a coffee shop, and I was on my own, got my tripod out, and I could see everyone looking. I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I don't care.
How much money have you made from
putting
yourself out there and advertising? And when you do a lot of what you do and a lot of what I do, it's consulting. People want to buy from you.
Yeah.
So they need to see you. Even when you own a brand, and like those brands I referenced earlier, those founders are on the front of their brands, their content facing, because they know that's driving, because they know people want to buy from them. We know multiple women who have also been successful from the same thing. Mm-hmm. You're doing yourself a disjustice. I took the tripod to South Africa when I was recently on holiday, and everyone laughed at me, and we were on a group. It wasn't for content, it was so we could take a memory, and I was able to take group pictures of us. I do that because it's got a little Bluetooth remote. Take pictures of us as a group that we might not have had if I hadn't been able to done that. And they're some of my favourite photos, and they are all of us coming from different parts of the world to be together, because we all live all over the world now. I don't know when we're next going to be together. It could be 5-10 years, who knows?
Yeah.
I've got those memories, so I've just let that go. And yeah, people will do, but it's all about them. You know, like when I was saying earlier about people saying, oh, why would you live in Dubai? Oh, why would you go to Thailand? I will tell you the first comment from those people when I got home: why would you move back?
Yeah.
Oh my God, give me a break.
Yeah.
And I realised.
Yeah, you just can't make anyone happy. You just can't make yourself happy.
So stop pleasing them and invest that time and invest that space, like, for you and for your future self. Like, you know, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? Is it in the same space? Is your business working for you? Is your marketing working for you? No. Right. What are you doing? How are you going to change it? Where do you want to be in 4 weeks' time, let alone 5 years? Take it right back. It's such a great time of year to be sitting down and looking at that and really committing to yourself and making it a habit. And it's like, it's, you know, okay, if it's hard to do 3 to start with, focus for one video a day, right? I've done that consistently for 10 days. I'm going to push for 2. I'm going to push for 3. And then you're there and you've done it in a month.
Yeah.
You know, you're up, you're rolling.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you never look back. And then hopefully your bank account is rolling too.
Yeah, definitely. And then like, just to finish off then, TikTok shop, product owners. There's lots of product owners on here.
Yeah.
I'm a product owner.
Yeah.
I don't even have TikTok shop.
Oh, we need to get your TikTok shop. We'll do that today. So it is, obviously it's got a bit of a notorious vibe, TikTok shop, and I get that. It can be a bit tricky to jump through hoops, but we're lucky because we obviously are partnered with them. We're verified. We do have like a nice little link in, so we can get any kind of things pushed through. So we've got pop supplements on there. We push that through in like 4 days instead of the 90 days it takes supplements to get approved, which is a dream. So yeah, it's becoming a prevalent place. And after Christmas, I can't wait to see the sales figures if they share them with us, what was made.
Yeah.
In the first 6 weeks in 2023, they made $1.7 billion on TikTok shop here. And they are hoping to 10x that this year.
Oh my God.
So there is this huge opportunity and it is becoming more easy. Also, true story, 90% of the sales come from the shop tab, not the content.
Really?
So the content is there to build your brand, to get it out there, to get it on everyone's lips, to make it wanted. But you can push that TikTok shop through if you get the right optimization, the right product. They have a lot of things that help. They have co-funded discounts. They have Fulfilled by TikTok. So you can send your stock into their warehouse. They will take care of everything for you. Receive, store, pick, pack, post out for 96 pence per item. Beat that.
Oh my God. Goodbye, Amazon.
Yeah. So there's a lot of there. They have created, in my opinion, a bit of a discount culture.
Yes.
But they offer the co-funded discounts. So you're not necessarily losing any margin as a business owner and a brand. But I think what will happen this year is as they entice more brands, and we talk to them all the time about, you know, big name brands coming on the platform, as they entice those brands on, they will have to look at like a slightly different metric.
Yeah.
Luxe Collections is one to look at. Reselling LV, Chanel on TikTok, thousands of pounds, 500,000 I think they made in a live. So there is that customer out there. It's just about, again, that's where the content piece comes in, right? Showing what the value is, showing what the products can really do, and using that subtle solution selling, which is what we know consumers want right now. No one really cares about the product. They want to know what it's going to do for them.
Yeah.
And that's what that content can do. And yeah, at the same time, you can be discovered on the TikTok shop. So it's definitely something to put on your radar. It's easy to set up. It is honestly affordable for small businesses to get out there. And when I met Made by Mitchell Brand recently, he said that he has now been stocked in Boots, and that would not have happened without TikTok. And for beauty, 1 in every 2 products sold on TikTok shop is a beauty product. Hence why we opened our agency. We're ready to make it rain. There's also obviously the affiliate program with them. So you can send your products out, have the affiliates create the videos and then sell it through their video. And that's all managed in platform for you. So you don't have to, you know, you send out an invitation to 50 affiliates a day and it just goes, and then they accept, you click yes to the sample approval or put auto request on, and it just goes out, and then they create that content and then they make money while you making money. You know?
Amazing. Like, I love stuff like that. But when it a bit like the influencers, though, sometimes you send stuff and then they don't do what they should do. Do you get that still with the affiliates?
So you kind of do, but also you kind of don't, because they are obviously, if they don't post content,
they're not getting paid.
So, and also like TikTok knows, you can, if you're a small business, put refundable samples on. So what you can do is put up that they need to purchase the product, but then they'll get it refunded as soon as they post your content. So you actually know that you're guaranteed. You can also directly message them. What you can't do is take their content without their permission and repost it on your platform. You do need to speak to them about that. Some may want payment for that. Depends on where they are in their journey. But yeah, you can do it through that affiliate program, and it makes it much easier to manage. And there is that assurance of business owners. And I know it's like, oh my God, she's saying approach 50 affiliates a day. We've just done that for one of our clients, which is Ove, which is a puberty and pregnancy app for 9 to 17-year-old girls. Just launched a period starter kit. amazing. Not just try different products, but try different brands.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm an Always girl because I was an Always girl because my mum bought me Always. That is just how it goes. But now you've got the option to choose all these different things, and applicator, no applicator, menstrual cup, period pants. So many choices now, so gel. So we've blanketed out to maybe, I think I've actually only sent 40 affiliate requests and 3 have replied, which is actually quite a high rate. So sometimes you get no replies and you have to keep going. Sometimes you get lots of replies. You can set the sample limit. You can set manual approval. So it's all in your control.
Wow.
But it's the same thing, you know, that you have to be in the game to get there.
Yeah, of course. You just got to keep doing it, haven't you? So do you do that within TikTok, your TikTok shop bit then?
Yeah, so we manage people's TikToks, content feeds, but we also manage their TikTok shops. And we have 2 separate teams that work on that together for clients. I want to keep my creatives creative, want to keep my content managers rolling and free and having fun. My TikTok management team have either got Amazon experience, e-com experience, or TikTok shop management experience. So they understand that load of back end, the right kind of pictures, the descriptions, the SEO.
Yeah.
Let's get the product optimized. Where are the opportunities? And then anything that goes wrong, managing everything in-house. It is a fully functioned platform. So yeah, it's been a mad learning journey, and I won't lie, things change every week.
Yeah, of course, like all socials and everything. It's always changing.
100%. But we're lucky enough to be on all those webinars with the TikTok team, and we've obviously got them, you know, at the end of the phone to be able to message or call and say, hey, can you help me out with this? I don't understand that, which has like been a godsend. I'm super, super grateful for them. And yeah, definitely keeps us on our toes because they're also like, right, what's going on? Like, how are you doing? Like, what's your pipeline? And I'm like, oh, I haven't had a manager for a while. So they're a fantastic support, and they want you to grow because they grow, and they are on a super aggressive growth plan this year. So if you are looking to add revenue, 20% revenue to your bottom line, if you are looking for new audience, if you are looking for new following, a new way to reach people, this is the way. And by the way, the age is changing all the time. 22% of the user is millennial now. And then we've got Gen X's. We know that the Gen Z wave on TikTok is obviously still prevalent, but man, is there a whole load of other people to encapsulate and reach out to. I would really build that wave now, like Drunk Elephant, Huda, Charlotte Tilbury, Maximized, Ordinary on Instagram, right? Between 2016 and 2018. This is that next shot is TikTok.
Oh my God, sign me up. I love it. Okay, we've been talking for a while.
I know, sorry. That was really indulgent. My ego feels so stroked. Thank you so much for listening.
No, I've loved having you on. I adore you. I wish you all the best with your engagement and wedding planning.
Oh God.
Very exciting.
Just add that to a whole other business.
I know. But thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you for having me.